quick question. I gotta ask you, how does that feel, Demon, when you're telling somebody what not to do, and out of spite, they do the exact opposite?
Well, it's different. If it's you and me.
No, it's not different. No,
it is.
No,
it's completely different.
Raid experience all over again.
Feels bad, man. Feels bad.
Feels bad. Yeah. That is why Respawn doesn't Sherpa raids that have freaking demon in it. Right there. Right. What you guys just heard is why I will never Sherpa a raid with Night Demon.
This isn't in the podcast. This stuff that we're talking now isn't even in the podcast. We haven't got to the podcast. You know why we haven't got to the podcast?
Man.
Because you were late. You were late, so you're being put in the timeout corner.
Late. I've been in here for the last 12.
No, you haven't. You haven't been here. And when you were messing about with the times yesterday, you said 9:59. I was in at 9:59. You were not here.
You guys were already here, and I was like, they're already here. I look at the bottom. It says 10:04.
Exactly.
You
said 9:59. You were joking about in that podcast, Jack, but it was 9:59. You were like, I'm going to be there at 9:59. You weren't even here at 9:59, so you're in the timeout corner.
I'm in the timeout corner, huh? Okay.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more. So, what makes us different, you may ask? Well, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 news and information and opinions. We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. Now, on with the show.
Should we kick the show off with welcome, everybody?
Hi. We're back.
Welcome, everybody.
We're back for another week.
Guess who's back?
All back three of us even.
All three of us.
Copyright. Tell your friends. Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Night Demon. That's who's back.
I was back last week.
Well,
I was back last week.
Were you really, though?
Yeah, but you're also back this week.
You really?
You're fully back this week. Last week you sort of parachuted in to save the impending train wreck.
So yeah, as I said, welcome to the show. I'm Night Demon, your host.
What up, Night Demon?
The singer, as always, is Respawn. And our eloquently speaking other American is Parody. And he's just about to tell us what's happening next week in Destiny. Destiny 2, of course. Not 1. Because we don't know that anymore.
Destiny, it's still running inexplicably. And Houndish covered what exotics you can get from Xur, who is also apparently coming to Destiny as well. Who knew? But in Destiny 2 next week, the Iron Banner and Lord Saladin are back. And he is bringing boosted valor with him. You can defeat Trask and the Taken in the Lake of Shadows Nightfall Ordeal Strike.
When you said that, I got one of those negative shivers down my spine.
The weekly flashpoint will be IO because they wanted to ruin our game and actually give us the flashpoint now.
No, but you did say last week we haven't played that for a while.
We haven't.
I think we gave up. What?
Bungie have given up on the flashpoint.
It was more like, let's describe what this new Crucible event is that's been here for a long time.
Well, we have to because Shaxx brings with him Supremacy and Showdown. Supremacy, you shoot the mins, you grab the orb, you go on with life. So what's Showdown, boys?
That's where you throw all your weapons down on the floor and you just charge each other head on. It's a showdown.
That sounds horrible.
Actually, no, is it literally 10 paces turn and fire?
No, that would be a duel.
And see, this is why we have to describe what these matches are, because no one actually knows. And honestly, when you try to look them up, you're taken to my poor departed friend, Crucible Labs, for back when that was a thing, going back way back into the reaches of time. So Showdown is where you have two teams of 4, and they vie for dominance by seeking which team can score the most kills in a timed round. There are 5 rounds in total, and if one team wins 3 rounds, they win. And at the end of 4 rounds, if you're tied 2-2, then the 5th round becomes a sudden death elimination where each player only gets 1 life. And that's Showdown. So you can ignore that and go play Iron Banner, or ignore PvP for the entire week, as most of you will probably do. and go play Gambit like our dear Dredged Lord, Blue Screen 42.
All right.
So, now that we've gotten up to next week, what's happening this week in Bungie?
Lots of things happened this week. There was a ride along in a dungeon, which was exciting.
So good. So Respawn can tell us all about the deep dive into the dungeon and the dungeon itself, because I have watched neither the ride along nor step foot into the dungeon, except for that one time I ended up there accidentally.
Well, I can tell you a few things from the dungeon if you'd like to know. And this isn't from me actually watching it. This is me listening to other podcasts who've watched it or have spoken to people that have watched it. So I can give you fourth-hand, maybe fifth-hand information on this.
Welcome back to the Destiny Hearsay podcast. I've heard this thing, and I've heard about Destiny. A friend told me his brother's sister's best friend got this game. It's called Destiny.
Exactly. Apparently, there's something to do with how they developed it. That it starts off with a circular room, so giving the meaning of the traveller, and then you go into the flat plains of the sand, and then you go into the square room, and then finally you go into the triangle-shaped room. And it's meant to go from Traveller to kind of the Pyramid Darkness kind of thing. That's what I heard.
Excellent. Lots of different shaped rooms. I hear that's the new thing.
Yeah, you go from circles to squares to triangles, and it's all meant to mean something.
Primary shapes?
Yes.
Cool.
Mainly going from Traveller to Pyramid Darkness. And if you want to go and see that, we will link that. That's been recorded and it's out there. So if you did miss it, you can go and watch it.
I like it. And now everything's dark, and then everybody freezes, and we all die in the cold, and 2020 ends as it should have. The end. And that's it, huh? Nothing else. Had to ride along and.
Yeah, I mean that was it. That's all the 12 this week. I mean, they go over that Iron Banner's returning. So if you didn't do the bounty from last Iron Banner, then you can do it this time. And remember, if you haven't done it, pick it up on all three characters, because you complete it on one character and it auto completes on the other two, giving you another chance at the sidearm and the auto rifle on the other characters that have got that bounty completed when you go and turn it in. So that's extra fun. If you haven't done that, if you've already done it, then it's kind of tough luck. It's just play the game, get the tokens, and throw them in Shax's face. No, Saladin's face. You could throw them in Shax's face, but you won't get anywhere. He won't really want them. You want them in Saladin's face. He will accept the tokens, and he will give you all the Swarm of the Ravens you could never really want. You want the sidearm, and you want the auto rifle.
And hopefully with some decent rolls, unlike the one of each I got last time.
Something I did find out that was quite interesting, that I'm not sure how it actually does work, but I saw that it was mentioned somewhere that the light level difference is in increments of 5 now. So if you are 5 light higher than, say, somebody at 1050 and you're 1055, that will have like the damage will be scaled up or down, whichever.
That would be from our little Ironhead section of the TWAB, because after running Iron Banner for how many months and years, they've actually decided to explain in the TWAB how Iron Banner works, which maybe they did before, but they sure haven't in the last few.
Oh, yes, there you go.
Yeah, so here's your quick Iron Banner lesson from Bungie is: first, get your power up, since this activity is power enabled. So that means your opponents will have an edge if they're 5 or more power above you. Second, snag your weekly bounties from Lord Zeldin in the tower before jumping in. You can earn some pinnacle power gear when completing the objectives. And third, please everyone, capture the zones. The more zones you hold, the more points you get whenever you defeat an enemy. And fourth, stick with your teammates. While being a lone wolf can be fun, hunting with the pack can yield the best results.
And can I add a fifth in there?
Capture the zones again?
No, shoot your weapons, because there's no point in you just running along as a herd of sheep to each capture zone and standing there in a wither horde. It doesn't make any sense. You do have to shoot the mans that are coming at you. Don't just go and capture the zones. Shoot the mans that are trying to shoot you, and then go maybe capture another zone. But try and hold on to 2 zones. And if you've got a really good team, maybe go for the third one. I thought I'd throw that in there because that makes no sense. Just sticking with those 4 rules, you do have to shoot the mans.
Yes, it is a game mode where you must shoot other people. Walking up to them and offering them your hand or emoting toward them will not end in victory.
Actually, no. I'm going to add a 6th rule to that. If you're a Titan, insurmountable skull fort and running around punching people. That you can do that. You don't have to shoot the mans. You can just punch the mans or punch the hunters.
Syntheseps,
warlocks.
Run around and punch things. So, yeah. So now that you've gotten your 4 Bungie and 2 Titans and a Hunter additional rules, the Iron Banner comes back, on Tuesday, August 4th, until the next Tuesday, August 11th, at the normal time, because that's how things work in the game.
Yes, and then
and also wait, one last final rule. Rule number 7: don't play on PC. Don't play on PC. Go to a console. Go to Stadia. Don't play PvP on PC. It just isn't done. You're going to have a bad experience. I can guarantee you.
Or I think you can also go and now play it on that new Nvidia thing. I saw Tash talking about it.
Max, yeah.
It's a bit like the Stadia xCloud thing, but Nvidia.
So one of our Aussies I play with, he plays on the Mac with the Nvidia thing.
What's powering that? Is it
the graphics card?
So I'm still confused.
So does it connect to other PCs? Because if it does, then there's still no point to play on that.
No, it doesn't connect to like your own PC. It might connect to like a PC somewhere else, like a.
No, but if they would say they took their Nvidia team into trials, who would they be playing? Other Nvidia people or people on PC?
PC.
Okay, we'll skip that one then. Don't go on that one.
Okay, so that's another one of those like connecting to a PC somewhere and playing it sort of like xCloud. You're playing on a data center PC somewhere, not a PC in your house, but it's still a PC based thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure what was actually powering that thing.
And then over the last week or so, I've just had loads of tweets come from Bungie going, we're doing maintenance, we're doing this, there's going to be this maintenance this day, but don't expect any downtime. But if you get kicked out, just reload it back up and you'll be back in. And that's all in preparation for a hotfix, which we have a preview for, which is going to go live next Tuesday.
That's what they say. To be a fresh hotfix right from the oven. They've put it in the oven, it's been baking, they've gotten all the moisture out. Going to have some delicious hotfixy goodness because when they introduced update 2.9.1, there were a couple of bugs because as we discussed and if you read the deep dive on how they fixed the beaver error last week, networking is hard. Games are hard. Computers are hard. So they fixed a couple of bugs with the Nightfall Ordeal. They fixed an issue where the Ordeal version of the Lake of Shadows was inaccessible at tiers above Adept for players who did not own Forsaken. They've also fixed an issue where the Festering Core Master Nightfall listed at 1080 power in the Director, but was actually 750 power. Guardians should expect a much greater challenge when engaging with this strike. Wasn't this one we were saying they probably aren't going to fix because it's going away anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they sure did. So I guess they found the button to hit to go, instead of delete 750, type 1080, save, and we're good.
As soon as Cheese or other people put out videos going, you could farm this right there and then, it was like swapped out, wasn't it, for the is it Pyramidium at the time? Or something?
Yeah, they swapped it out, but I think we all sort of agreed, they probably won't bother fixing this because it's going away in, of course, now November, but I guess it was an easy fix. So good job, them.
What I don't understand about that is if it was an easy fix, why didn't they do it way back when Cheese made a video about it 6, 7, 8 months ago going,
I told you because now Cheese is on their radar, man. Thanks to your damn video.
It's nothing to do with me.
It's 100%.
Although Foundish does keep referencing, he does keep referencing Cheese in nearly every other video. He goes,
he does.
This was on a Cheese Forever video.
I mean, you do
because Cheese is all of our sources for everything. Just like our sources for Leviathan rewards of XP Glimmer and chances toward exotic and bred Ingrams are now back on a weekly lockout. Note that weapons and armor are not affected by the lockout and can be earned multiple times. So I think this is the shell perk that was not working. That was also giving unlimited rewards that they didn't intend. So that's been fixed for Leviathan raids.
And the fact, the I think last week there was a dog farm that was going on with people it's been for like the last 3 weeks. People have been getting to the dog location and just keeping that checkpoint and farming that location over and over again because there was a high number of, with that with the ghost shell that you can get from Leviathan, it gives you a high chance of getting exotics. Although they were only year 1 exotics, they were still being able to have high stat rolls and being able to be farmed. Bungie don't really want you kind of doing that. They want you to kind of go into the Nightfall ordeals and bang your head against the wall for 3 hours to get one exotic that you probably don't really want, whereas this was a farming method that they don't really like people doing.
They've fixed an issue where some players could not acquire the means to an end quest from the Prismatic Recaster. It's got to be rough if you've gotten this far into the season and have not been able to get the means to an end quest at all. So actually fix it now. Right. So at least I have a couple extra weeks because it's been a couple weeks to get into it.
Yeah.
They fix an issue where the Ruinous Effigy could trigger the heal from the Stronghold Titan exotic armor while blocking with the carry object. Not swords. Like it should work. Ruinous Effigy was apparently also triggering that heal mechanic. Now it does not anymore. But we use the Strongholds to find out.
I honestly don't get why that's a fix. That is just kind of an added bonus for why you'd want to have the Strongholds.
Right. It'll give you a reason to use them.
Now they become obsolete again. It's like the choice over having a Stronghold or something else, people will go with the something else at this point in time. So
yeah.
Is it really useless though, especially with all the swords that we have in the game right now that people?
Well, it's not useless.
Yes, it's still useless because they've also fixed an issue where the umbral stat-focused engrams could provide less than 10 in the selected stat. Just completely defeats the purpose of doing that. So yeah, so those are a couple things coming in our hotfix this week.
Yeah,
and yeah, Strongholds. I think I even got one to drop recently with probably decent stats, but I don't look at it because you can block with a sword better. Cool. Don't care. Never going to do it.
So this hotfix that's coming, 2.9.1.2, when is that going to drop, Parody?
It is going to drop on Tuesday, August 4th, right before Iron Banner. Basically at 9 a.m. PDT, 1600 UTC, and figure it out in your time zone. It's basically the same time they always do this. 45 minutes later, you'll be kicked offline if you aren't offline already. At 10 a.m. PDT, that would be 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 UTC, and the next day in Oz. Hotfix 2.9.1.2 begins rolling out on all platforms and regions. 1 minute later, allegedly, Destiny is back online and players can log in. And then at 12 p.m. PDT, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1900 UTC, and again the next day in Oz, your service maintenance concludes, but more likely it'll be an hour or two after that it actually concludes, but you'll be able to be back online. And as a reminder, for the duration of when maintenance begins to when all the servers come back online, all your API-based things are down. Your DIMs, your Ishtar commanders, your little lights, your Destiny sets, everything that talks to Destiny the game can't talk to Destiny the game because those things are all offline. So don't try to do what I always try to do and think, I'm going to sort my inventory. You can't. And there are a couple of known issues. They are still investigating. Players who acquire the calcified light without the pendulum step of the growth quest in their inventory will be blocked from completing the quest. So if you're not at the point where you need to pick up the little calcified lights for your Ruinous Effigy, don't touch them. You'll break your quest and you'll be sad. Picking up a throwing hammer while holding a sword will not recharge the Titan's melee ability when running Code of the Devastator. Because Titans, sword or throwing hammer, you gotta pick one. You can't have both. Sorry, it's just that's the rules. Enemies
I'm fully on board with that, actually.
Mm-hmm. Enemies in the hexahedron encounter of the Prophecy Dungeon can stop spawning. Which just seems like, how mechanics should work anyway, but I'm assuming can stop spawning before they're supposed to. The Season tab of the Director will flash to indicate available rewards when none are there. We call that the EVA problem. And the previously uncensored names on Steam are now being censored. So that's fun. So that's just the list of the known issues they're highlighting this week. We'll link the known issues article in the show notes because, as you all know, there's always more than just what we mention here. And yeah, that's been our entire TWAB of the week, other than some beautiful videos, including hunters throwing knives at people and getting one-shot kills in the in the Crucible. The thing that Respawn was worried about the Titans doing when we got hammers that were better, but this guy's just running around throwing knives and setting people aflame. So good job, bud.
Are you trying to compare apples to oranges, bud? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I'm trying to point out that there was a video this week of a hunter running around and getting one-shot kills with a knife. That's all. And then Bungie links, at the bottom, just the sort of the updated calendar of when things are coming in this season, because we have more of it now. And over to Night Demon / Houndish. What's up, guys? Night Demon here.
What's up, guys? Night Demon here.
See,
no! I'm
I don't want to get sued. You're doing it on purpose.
You can't get sued for that. That's not a copyrighted or trademarked phrase. Other people can say, "What's up, guys? Night Demon here."
What's up, guys? Houndish here.
Nope. Oh yeah. See, look at that. Tempting fate.
He's not.
What's up, guys? Not Houndish here. There you go. Does that work?
No, it's never going to work. We all know who you really are on the inside.
M-tashed.
Only on days that end in Y.
So we are flying through this podcast this week. There's, we've done this week at Bungie. We've done the known issues. I think it's now time for the Respawn's Report Roundup.
Why did you say that? My eyes start to water up. All right, let's go.
Of joy, you're so joyous that you want to bring the people the news, the extra news that they don't get in the TWAB.
I've been up since 6 a.m. and it's my nap time. Some TWABs will be... Sorry, this is from Damage04. Some TWABs will be meaty, giving topics for you to chew on and discuss for hours on end. Others will be business as usual. This week, maybe a light week, depending on whether or not we can get some of our info together. Elijah is joining in on the podcast. Thank you. We have a bit to talk about before November 10th, but things are still in development, and we want to get our ducks in a row and make sure our messaging is clear and factual. We know you want to hear about things like transmog, further DCV details, that is Delta Charlie Victor details, sandbox updates, and other general changes to Destiny 2 features. Details will come in time. And we'll be more than happy to get that info to you as soon as it's ready. Until then, we've got moments of triumph, seasonal events, and general D2 gameplay to keep you company. That was a lot. He had a lot to say.
Oh, and this next one, we got a comment from Matt over on our Podbean site saying that D2 will also be coming to Xbox Game Pass for PC that you get with Ultimate. And I replied to Matt because I'd looked into this at the time because I didn't want to give people the wrong information, that Xbox hadn't confirmed whether it was coming to PC in September. But having looked at it today, Microsoft have confirmed it will be coming to PC Game Pass sometime in 2021. And I did say that I'd bring this up on the show. And thank you, Matt, for kind of pointing that out. But then Cosmo, as Respawn's about to tell us, has replied to somebody on Reddit.
Reddit link.
Reddit link.
All right, so Cosmo has commented on Destiny 2 coming to Xbox Game Pass 2, DTG bot, and Acer 1096XXX. I might have completely jacked that up, but I don't know how to use Reddit, so shut up. Acer 1096 XXX says, does this include Xbox Game Pass for PC as well? Edit. Confirmed no PC for now, but planned for 2021. Cosmo replies, we have news for PC Game Pass members later in 2021. Somebody else replied, this is 08 Sierra ST. Damn it. This is 08 STU, says later in 2021. Is that a typo? Question mark? Cosmo replies, no. So that dude was obviously very shocked. He goes, 2021. Wait, what? He pulled to me. He's just like, I'm sorry, that has to be wrong. Except Cosmo said no.
Yes. Yeah, so it's coming, but not until next year sometime. Which sort of makes sense if it was coming this year and you had to push things back, 6 weeks as it is. If it was coming in Christmas, now it's 2021 or later. So, sorry, PC people. You get what you get in 2021.
They get Gears Tactics. They don't need anything else.
I guess it's going to force us to play on Xbox for a bit, huh?
Or just have the game that you already bought.
Yeah.
Bungie has replied to Bungie. Capture the Destiny 2 Beyond Light Collector's Edition before it's gone. Limited quantities are available in both the US and EU, which excludes Britain.
It doesn't exclude Britain. You can still get stuff from there on the EU site.
I don't believe you. Powerful Vids Full replies to @Powerful Vids Full. Oh no, that's his. Is that how that works? Is that like his tag? Doesn't matter. Power Vids Full says, if I get this now, how many months? Well, I have to wait until I actually get it. Bungie replies, says, Collector's Edition exclusive, physical collectible Bungie contents delivered on or before November 10th, 2020. So, it is what?
I think it's been
today's August, right? August, September, October, about 3 months. There you go.
Yeah. I think it's the same as any other collector's edition. You'll get it in the post either the day before or even 2 days before. You won't be able to run it until it actually goes live. So it doesn't really matter whether they deliver it to you early or actually on the day.
What even is that thing in his hand? Anyway, is that just like a light?
It's a shard of dark.
Yes.
Right.
So you can't fondle your shard of darkness until you're,
Oh, I can fondle my shard of dark. Oh, you mean the thing? Oh, sorry. Moving on. DMG04 commented on change the 150 fallen bounty to kill insert amount enemies. Thanks for the post. I think I replied to one of these a few weeks back, but the major feedback points I've shot to the team are: competing for kills can be frustrating. Players would like to see shared fire team progress. There aren't enough strikes to feature large amounts of fallen consistently. Strikes like Arm Sailor can have a bunch of fallen, but most while this prevents natural feeling progress on the bounty. Thanks again for continued feedback. You didn't help at all. DMG, take a drink, guys. DMG also commented on daily reminder Nova Warp was unfairly killed and Spectral Blades got off scot-free, except it didn't.
It did, because somebody said it did, so you can't argue.
I can argue that, like so much, because Spectral Blades has also been nerfed a bunch, so don't even come at me.
No.
No? Remember when we could just Spectral Blades back and forth across the map like Warlocks currently can? And now we can't do that anymore? Yeah, because it was nerfed. So, who?
No, it says Spectral Blades got off scot-free.
No Warlock is Spectral Blading anywhere.
No, not Spectral Blade, but the freaking that little fire blade dance they do through the sky. What aspects of Nova Warp feel to need the most attention? The duration, I'll be honest with you, because that is my favorite build. We've passed a bit of general feedback over to the team. Take a drink. But I'd love to see some examples. Tell me about your feelings on damage, movement, abilities, or whatever your heart desires. It could use some extra damage for PvE, but mostly the duration. You feel it so much whenever you try to use it. It used to last so long, and now it's just...
I literally heard the cogs turning as you got to E in that whole sentence. You're like, PvP, PvP, E.
Yeah, that's right. Cogs are turning. Spot2_gaming says, can we get some info about Gambit's future at some point as well? I really want to know what's happening to my favorite game mode. That guy's a psychopath. DMG is wearing a mask. You should too. Replies, we'll definitely have info sometime over the summer, but on Jesus. We'll definitely have info out sometime over the summer on how Gambit is changing. Probably won't be in the near future, but definitely before Beyond Light. Until then, hold tight and bank those moats.
Blue screen 42.
Lock and load, Quick Draw. Let's find out what's coming to kill you this time.
I am also very curious what our Gambit changes are going to be because I love me some Gambit.
I want them to get rid of Gambit regular and keep Prime and Prime's counterpart. Because I really like that armor for the freaking transmog. I really want to keep that armor for the transmog.
It took Lowy and Frost. I've been working on my Sentry set to try to get the Sentry Triumph done, and I need a whole bunch of, I can't remember what the medal's called, basically where you clear the last blocker 3 times in a match.
Yeah.
Trying to do that and convince your team that, no, I'm going to stand here at the bank and murder the blockers. You all do everything else, and I will shoot things at range. Doesn't work. They don't listen well.
You need to go in with a group of your own, dude. I am perfectly fine with killing all the ads and then going and kill the people on the other side. You stay there and you kill all the invaders, not invaders, blockers. You
invaders, blockers. I'll mark anybody. I don't care. But yeah, no, unfortunately I've been playing at weird times, so it's just me on, and I know everyone's great love for Gambit. So even if I say, hey, let's play Gambit, everyone goes, yeah, no, you go over there and sit in the corner and think about what you've done.
I'll play Gambit with other people. I mean, Gambit's lost a lot of its luster that it used to have unless I'm playing with clan mates or friends. Then it's fun again. Senate Nomad asks, a lot of us are asking for details on anti-cheats. Is there any hope that this will be addressed before Beyond Light? I'm answering no.
DMG answering.
Let's see what DMG says. DMG says, hope? Is there hope? Yes, there's hope, which means that's all you're going to get, guys. Further on, it says, team is definitely working on improvements to Destiny 2, which should combat cheating. Can't provide a date for details. Take a drink. Goal would be to talk about it as soon as we can. Really, take another drink.
And really, they can only ever say so much about it other than, yes, we've done stuff, because you're never going to get a detailed breakdown, obviously, of here's what we're doing to combat cheaters. Because then the cheaters know what you're doing, and that's just dumb. But yeah, it needs love, because as we said, don't play PvP on PC. Don't do it.
Yeah, and like when you watch some of these live streams, like every now and again, I'll pop in on MTest or I'll pop in on Azcross, whatever. I'll Fallout, whoever. And like, I swear to God, like they don't outright say it, but when you watch them and you can see a guy like sniping with 100% accuracy, freaking, 50 to 75% of the time. Like you can't say that he's outright cheating, because some people are pretty good. But the fact that he never misses a sniper shot or never even gets a body shot with a sniper.
Yeah, I was just saying,
that's sketchy, man.
If you're 100% anything, you're cheating. I'm sorry. Unless you have one sniper shot and it's a headshot and that's the only shot you've taken, I'll give you credit. That's all you. But if you have 100%, accuracy on any gun, on anything, you're cheating point blank.
Yeah. And you can just feel it. Some of them will outright point out, why people are cheating, because this happened or that happened or this happened. But like, there's just so many cheaters, and it makes me feel so bad, because especially when like you're watching them do the carries, they're helping some guy like me that can't get to the tower any other way, right? And most of their matches,
you can get to the tower anytime.
Sorry, Lighthouse.
Maybe he can't. I need some help. Respawn, I will give you a tower carry anytime you need, bud.
Thank you. Much appreciated. But yeah, no, they're helping people out that otherwise can't get to the Lighthouse on their own accord, right? So seeing that, and then seeing them like 2-3 matches in, and then here's a cheater, right? A guy that self-reses, or a guy that's getting 100% headshots on snipers and freaking high impact hand cannons, right? And then they use the mercy for that and move on another 1 or 2 matches, and there's another cheater, or there's a group of cheaters. One time there was a group of guys where, I am not kidding you, every single one of them was hitting nothing but headshots. Every single one of them. I was like, good God, man, that's nuts. I would never play Destiny again. These streamers, they're giving it their all. They're trying to play the game despite the cheaters, but it's hard to watch. I can't even imagine what it would be like to play against. And I give them credit for that. They're still trying to help people despite all this nonsense.
why you haven't just given up and said, I'm going to console or doing something, do raid helps or something instead. I don't know at this point, but hey, more power to them for banging their head against that particular wall, because I would have given up by now.
So now we come to the best part of the podcast.
A 3-hour lore reading? The entire history front to back?
No. He's banned from lore readings now.
No, did y'all see that I found the thing that I was looking for? I sent it to y'all. I was like, I found it.
You're banned.
I found it.
You're banned from lore readings.
I found it.
Banned. No.
Baby agrees.
I'm getting somebody in to replace you.
You hear the baby?
No, I can't, because your system is so good right now. It mutes you half the time when you get too loud, and it's phenomenal.
Oh.
I have not heard the baby. No. You should keep it on. It's working out perfectly as intended. I have not heard a baby a single time.
So yes, we've come to the main substance of our podcast this week. And yes, I know there are a lot of other podcasts out there that have not really covered much, and we will cover stuff for you in chocolate sauce and stuff.
We will cover things not just in detail, but in a possibly painful level of detail. You'll be begging at the end of it to have less detail and say, really, are you going to do a deep dive into this? Yes, we are. And friends, it is not a detailed reading of all the bugs in the game. No. That's a particular threat we're going to hold over your head and continue to do so. Because 19, we have a different thing to deep dive into this week. We are talking about our Solstice of Heroes for 2020.
So last year we had the Moments of Triumph, which was extended until the 17th of September. And that was because of the delays for Shadowkeep with the launch of that, because that was delayed 2 weeks. So the Moments of Triumph portion was actually extended, but the Solstice of Heroes still ended when it was meant to end on August 27th. So this year, again, all players in Destiny 2 are welcome to participate in the event, and it begins on August the 11th. So that's when Iron Banner finishes. This will kick off, and it will run until September 8th. And I'm guessing, just because of history, that they won't extend the Solstice, but they might extend the Moments of Triumph for another month or so. If you wanted to complete all your Moments of Triumph from last year, you had to make sure that you earned your Legendary Solstice set and Masterworked one piece before the deadline. And there are a couple of hidden triumphs with this year's Moments of Triumph for the 2020 seal, which are probably going to be along the same kind of, probably exactly the same triumph, let's face it. They don't very rarely change things up as much. So
I really hope that's not the case. I really hope that's not the case.
Well, it is. I think it is only the two things, and it's just going to be get your Legendary Solstice set, the full set, but you only have to master work one of the items. So we will go through what those items are and what you need to do. What we could do is we'll have a look at, try and explain to you how it worked last year. So what happened was there was these, Ikora used to do meditations, which you could go and play previous events that happened in Destiny at the beginning of Destiny 2. And she teamed up with Eva Levante, and they came up with this EAZ, which was the European Aerial Zone. And it was literally a whole city floating on rocks. One large rock and then several on the outside. And what you had to do is basically go round and kill different enemies, and you had the chance of killing. The more and more enemies I believe that you killed, the more time that you would get if you destroyed the champions, and then you would be able to then kill a boss at the end and then run around and hit these hidden chests that were all around the map.
Yeah, like the Halloween events that we've had.
Yeah. What happened was, each day, the event would feature one of the three elements, so solar, arc, or void. The elemental kills will award you with elemental orbs, and these would just drop randomly with your normal orbs that would drop. Picking up these orbs would let you complete objectives to upgrade your armor, and you could create whatever orbs that you needed for the objectives that you're working on to achieve. You could also collect up to 30 orbs matching that day's element to apply an elemental buff for a brief time. So what would happen was solar element buff. If you equipped your solar subclass and the weapons to generate your solar orbs, then collect them, the wielder would then have the solar elemental power, which, while empowered, your guardian would emit a burning wave of energy that damages anything around them. It kind of just pulsate from you, wouldn't it? And you could do that on a Titan, Warlock, or Hunter.
Yep.
The void element, again, if you put your void subclass, void weapons to generate the orbs, then collected them. This would work on every class, by the way. If you crouched while you were empowered, you would become invisible and gain true sight, like a hunter can, plus enhanced ability regeneration. And that would be Titans could do this, Warlocks could do this, and Hunters could do this as well. So it wouldn't matter what tree you selected on your Hunter. Again, it was only for a brief period of time. I think it was something like 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were cooldowns, but they're not to use.
Yeah, this would also work in Crucible, but there was a caveat to that. And then Arc Elemental buff, again, equipping Arc subclass, Arc weapons to generate the orbs. While you're empowered, Guardians move with enhanced speed and deal greater melee and sword damage. So you can imagine that on a Titan. That was fantastic.
I don't have to. I was there and it's
the effects lasted for a short period of time or until you were defeated by your enemies. And have no fear, at the time, those buffs were not active in competitive or Gambit Prime last year. So fingers crossed that they won't be active this year. They would have kind of copied and pasted it across.
Yeah, so no competitive PvP. That includes trials and no Gambit Prime. It was in regular Gambit for some reason. I guess because probably the mechanic of not being able to steal. I don't know why, because reasons.
So Eva and Ikora, as I said, teamed up for this new ritual that was in the center of the tower, pretty much where the Guardian Games statue was. Or if you weren't there for Guardian Games, literally when you fly to the tower, there'll be a statue right in front of you, Eververse, and the Postmaster will be on the left, and the Cryptarch guy will be on your right. But it's literally right in front of you. The enemy types that were on the EAZ were Hive, Cabal, and Fallen. You would also get the odd Taken champion suddenly appear for different reasons. There would be, I think there was bounties that you could do to do different things or unlock different hidden triumphs. I think. I can't really remember. I can't remember now.
Yeah, there was something tied to that. Yeah, going because it would tell you the Taken has appeared, because there were different spots on the map with different names. It would say the Taken champion has appeared here, and go kill them. I think it would give you like a buff in the game or refill your super or something like that when you kill them in the actual EAZ. And there was there was also some bounties or triumphs tied to it as well. So there was a reason to do it just in the gameplay for once, not just for a triumph. But there was something else in the moments of triumph to do it too.
So it was at the time, it was a new 3-player match-made activity that could be launched from the tower or the director. I think it's much like the dungeon was. It was just an icon on the map on the tower. So you could walk up to the...
Did we have Greg in the EAC, or did Greg only come for the Halloween stuff?
He was only in the Halloween stuff. There was no big ogre chasing around the EAZ. Well, not that. There were other ogres, not that. Knight. There were other knights, but not the particular unkillable knight in the EAC.
I mean, they had similar mechanics that you see in Strikes and other Destiny 2 mechanics that you can get. So there was like making sure that the two champions were next to each other to get their shields down, or I think like the Broodhold strike where you've got the two witches. There was the two different apparitions of those that were one of the bosses, but we'll get to that in a second. So your goal was to defeat as many mini bosses as possible before the time expires. When your time ran out, you would face off against the final boss. Once that boss was defeated, you would set out across the EAZ in search of hidden chests. Now, these were all in set locations, but the problem was you didn't know where those locations would actually spawn a chest. So say if you regularly just killed 5 mini bosses before you got to the final boss, those 5 chests would not spawn in the same location every time you did the EAZ. They would be in the set of like 25 locations. All 5 would spawn in a different area each time you went to it. Again, the more mini bosses you defeat, the more treasures would await you. The chest contained Solstice packages, which you could open with Solstice key fragments, and by completing any activity during the Solstice of Heroes, and consider them similar to Essence of Dawn. Now, this was something that was kind of very similar to like the tokens that you could kind of turn in with Eva, and you could unlock more packages and get more different roles of your armor and different weapons. There was mainly blues. I think it was very similar to how we had other events in Destiny. You'd get more blue items that would drop out of these packages than you would get like the legendaries or even an exotic. So last year, with the event kicking off, you basically had to go and speak to Eva. She would send you off on a little journey. You'd end up going to the EAZ and you'd run through for your first time. At the end of that, you would then return to Eva and she would award you with the drained armor set. And you'd then have to go off and do different objectives to power that up. You'd then come back to the statue, meditate, and then that would upgrade the set to I think it was a renewed armor set. And then go off and do different things again, come back to the statue, meditate, and it would upgrade to the majestic set. But this year, they've changed it slightly. The base set that you start off with is a renewed set. You then move on to the majestic set, and then you move on to the magnificent set, which is your top tier one.
So we're skipping the first step where we have to actually get the armor to begin with. We're just...
Well, no, that's what happened last year. Is you had to go to the EAZ and experience it for the first time for her to then go, well, here you are, here's an armor set. But before that, last year, it was the drained armor set from the Red War when you first started the campaign. And you remember you had to upgrade that to the majestic set. But they're kind of, for some reason, they're not doing that drain set to start you off. It's the renewed set that you start off with a blue set. So you go blue, purple, and then purple again.
Purple with flourishes. Purple with fanciness.
Fancy pantsies. So as I said, the Solstice packages could award you with rare and legendary gear, enhancement and other materials. And the Solstice packages are sealed packages contained untold treasures from the EAZ. And to open them, you need to have had the Solstice key fragments. And I remember last year you had loads and loads of key fragments in the end, didn't you? It's a bit like what we had with
the cookies.
No, with the towers and the Rasputin things that we've had recently, and now with the twisted metal. I can't remember what they're called. Twisted elements to then decode the engrams with the drifter. So you need the key fragments to then decode the packages. So very similar mechanics as what we've kind of been working with for like the last year.
Yeah, basically like everything else, you're going to have a whole bunch of extra materials. There'll be one material set you don't have enough of, and then one you have loads of and can't do anything with.
There was also a consumable that was rewarded by Eva and the Solstice bounties, which would aid you, called the Fragment Magnet. Fragment Magnet.
We're all so illiterate today, man.
I am. This consumable item attracts Solstice key fragments at an alarming rate, and you had to use it at your own risk. But as we found out, that was something that was very buggy and was taken out of the game very, very quickly. So I'm not sure if this will be something that will be put back in the game this year. Maybe they've actually worked on it and patched it and got it to work. But it was as it was meant to be. It was meant to attract more of these Solstice key fragments than you could really want. Right? But it kind of, I think they ended up evening it out so that instead of having to use the consumable, other elements of like doing strikes, gambit, and crucible would just drop these key fragments for you. And at the end of it, once you earned a full set of the legendary Solstice armor, the Solstice packages would reward you with additional armor that you could hunt for versions of the Solstice armor with enhanced perks. So hopefully they'll do that this year, so that the base armor set that you kind of slowly upgrade would then you'd be able to kind of swap out once you get to the Magnificent set, and then finally get, just keep playing the EAZ part to get the packages to then unlock higher stat rolls, which would be really helpful for the next year. The rewards that they were offering last year, Eva had a sparrow attached to her, and what that entailed of how to get that sparrow was you had to collect all of the Solstice Legendary armor sets on all 3 characters, and that would give you access to the EV-37 Void Streak Sparrow. And what I didn't realise until recently, when I was in the Scourge of the Past with the Respawn, was that this Sparrow was very unique because there's only one other version of this kind of Sparrow, which is the exotic one that you can get from the Scourge of the Past, where enemies are less aggressive towards you whilst riding this Sparrow. So if you've got the Sparrow from last year, you can use this in the Scourge of the Past Sparrow Race part to get shot less at, which is really handy if you are kind of going in there and farming for the fallen mods that you can possibly use in the Deepstone Crypt raid coming up in Beyond Light.
Especially if you're like Night Demon, you'd always get killed the first 30 seconds into the Sparrow Race.
I tried doing different things, stop it. Or if you are trying to farm to get the exotic Sparrow from the Scourge of the Past, this EV Void Streak, I'm not entirely sure whether this one will be coming back into kind of a loophole in with the packages or not. The same with the shaders that we got last year. We got a pomegranate gloss and a tangerine gloss. There were also some emotes that you could get as well. There was Flag on the Play. I think I've seen this in kind of the Twitch Prime rewards, wasn't there, and things like that. There's Paperwork, Breathe In, the Silly Handshake, Flick of the Wrist, and the Hip Bump. And these may have kind of been just rolled into the Eververse engrams at some point. I wouldn't know because I collected them all last year whilst I was in Solstice. So they may be something that's kind of either coming back in the packages this year or something that's just not. Also, we had 3 exotic ghosts last year. We had the Shard Shell, the Jubilant Shell, and the Buoyant Shell. 2 exotic vehicles, which was the Micro Mini, which was the little Sparrow, wasn't it? Do you remember that, guys? Everybody wanted that mini Sparrow.
I still use that to this day. The one with the little needle on the front? Absolutely.
I don't know.
Baby Sparrow off yet?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the exotic or the legendary? I'm sorry.
The exotic one.
Okay, no, I still use that right now, yeah.
The little blue, the little blue one that you can ride. So yeah, there was the Micro Mini and the Legacy 2, which I think it looked like a boat, like the wooden boat that you have in Indiana Jones has in Last Crusade. Is that kind of wooden?
Nice reference.
Yeah.
Also, talking about the mini Sparrow, right? You know how you have the emote where you're riding the tiny little Sparrow, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was doing a raid with my son and a few randos, right? And I had that emote going, and my son's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know they had that in the game, right?" And then I got on my actual Sparrow, which was the mini Sparrow you're talking about. And Alexander, it took him a second. He goes, wait, hold on, wait. Is that a real Sparrow? Because, I guess he didn't see me transition from the emote to the Sparrow. Because the Sparrow is so tiny, it still looks like the emote, right? So when I took off, he's like, whoop.
Oh, that's amazing.
We got an exotic ship, which was the Summertide Kite. There was 2 legendary ghost projections, which was the Triumph projection and the Buried Treasure projection. 4 rare ghost projections, which was Sunglass protection, the Crab protection. I say protection. Sunglass projection, Crab projection, Beach Ball projection, and the Palm Tree projection.
I would like crab protection, though. That would be a perk I'd like in Destiny to make sure those crabs leave me alone.
That's exclusive to Louisiana and Mississippi.
2 transmat effects, which was the Sandcastle and the Beach Ball. And then there were 6 bundles, which contained a complete solar armor glow set for 2019, Arc and Void, and then you had a one-time purchase that you could get from Eververse for the Titan, Hunter, and Warlock. So that's what you could get last year. This year, what's been added into the database are 2 exotic emotes, Catching Rays and Power Rising, 2 legendary emotes, which are Sweltering Heat and Twisty Dance, 1 legendary multiplayer emote, and that's Intimidating Snap, 3 ghosts with hats. So you may have seen these floating around. There's the Spelunking Shell, which is a kind of fedora-looking hat. The Cabana Shell, which is like a one that you kind of see at the beach while you're drinking out of a coconut kind of thing. People with these kind of boat-looking white hats. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm sorry. The Backspin Shell, which is like a tennis sunshade visor looking one. All 3 of those are from Eververse. There's 2 exotic sparrows, the Irina's Grace and On Gilt Wings. again, Eververse. One ship, exotic, the Soul Piercer. Again, not sure whether this is coming through Eververse or it's like the Void Sparrow where you had to complete all the 3 sets on all 3 classes to obtain. There's 2 new shaders and a transmat effect. Again, Eververse.
I'm all in for the intimidating snap. But between that and the cowbell, I feel like those are just the two you need going forward. So I found actually episode 30 from last year. The I only use my guns for special occasions featuring Celestial Talons has some video footage of EAZ from last year, featuring our Aussie companions Andy and G-Dad. So we'll throw that it starts about an hour into another one of our 3-hour extravaganza. So I'll put a link in the show notes there to that. Just if you, not that you haven't seen EAZ footage by people far better than me, but if you're curious, going, well, what is this? It just shows how the mechanic works. Because we've been doing this a long time, and we can actually go back to last year and say, hey, last year when we did this, it's still weird to me to think we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah. So I know your next question, guys, is how do you upgrade the different sets of armor? Isn't it? That's what you two are wondering, isn't it?
No, not even a little. I get it. No.
What wall do I need to bang my head against to unlock the new armor set?
Well, there are several different things that you need to do. And they've kind of changed the objectives from what they were last year. And it looks like they're a lot easier. So yeah, last year there was quite a few, I'd say kind of difficult achievements to kind of unlock the certain parts of armor. For example, there was a guide that had to be put together by DPJ on how to get 200 Hunter Void Grenade kills. Now, I think, cross your fingers, they've kind of taken these out of doing that on the armor pieces, and we'll run through it in a second. Another one was to get 300 Titan Solar Melees. So yeah, you had to kind of look at different videos to find different ways of doing it quicker, because it got a bit tedious with things like that. But it looks like they've kind of improved how to get these ones. And they slightly vary on each class. So Hunter, we'll run through with the Hunter for the renewed set. So complete runs through the European aerial zone, land final precision blows, and defeat fallen combatants. So you only have to do 1 complete run of the EAZ, 50 precision final blows, and kill 100 fallen. And that would unlock the mask, helmet. For your grasps, you'd have to complete 5 strikes, generate solar orbs in Crucible or Gambit, and open 10 Solstice packages. And that would complete your grasps or gauntlets. Your vest or your chest piece, defeat 50 combatants in the EAZ, collect void, solar, or arc orbs, 400. Don't be put off by that, because they just drop like candy all over the place. And kills on the EAZ with solar subclass, 50. And that would do your chest piece. The strides or your boots, complete 5 public events on Nessus, defeat 50 people with your supers, and 25 guardians, either in Crucible or Gambit. And that would do your boots or your strides. And then your cloak or your cape, complete adventures, collect arc orbs in any strike, and complete Crucible or Gambit matches. So that's 5 adventures, 100 strike orbs, and 5 matches. And it would differ on each class. So for, say, the Titan's Mark, it's void, solar, or arc orbs, rather than just the arc orbs for the Hunter. And on the Bond, it's public events, supers, and Crucible matches. So they've it's all the same kind of thing, but they kind of mix it up for which piece you kind of have to complete for it. So we'll move on to the Titan for the Majestic set. So complete Gambit matches, collect elemental orbs using a matching arc, solar, or void subclass. So as we said, that the burns will rotate daily, and it'll let you know on the screen what day is a specific burn for generating orbs as well.
Is this verified, or are we just basing this whole thing off of what happened last year?
No, this is verified. This is all verified stuff for this year. This is why I'm saying it's different from what the pieces were last year. and it seems they've taken out some of the elements to make it a little bit easier, but bumped up some of the other things that you kind of had to get. Right. So you've got to complete 10 Gambit matches for the Majestic. This is the Majestic helmet set, and that is for the Majestic helmet for the Titans, but it's the chest piece on the Hunters that you have to do this. So that's how they kind of mixed it up. So it may not be the same thing on each class.
So
10 Gambit matches. 10 Gambit matches. Void, Solar, and Arc orbs, 1,000. Guardians defeated with arc weapons, 100. The gauntlets complete heroic public events, that's 10. Defeat combatants with abilities, that's 100. And defeat bosses, and that's 20. The chestplate, defeat combatants in strike playlists using subclass that matches the arc, solar, void element for the day. Defeat combatants in the European aerial zone, and defeat full using a subclass that matches the arc, solar, or void for the day. So the strike playlists kills, you have to get 600. And make sure that you do it in the strike playlist, because I think they found out last year if you kind of just selected a strike or you did it in a nightfall, it didn't count. Combatants, it's 200. That's in the EAZ. And fallen defeated is 300. So some of these things you can kind of double up on. So if you're on the EAZ, you get one that has loads of fallen in, that would count towards the combatants and the fallen. So there's a lot of things that you can kind of work out from doing multiple things. And it's mainly good to try and do it with a fire team or with a friend, or just LFG might work. That worked last year with some people.
Well, I'll just say, and some of these too, like a lot of the ones where, collect all these orbs, this is one of the few things in the game where if I get the kill, I get my orbs, but you can also collect my orbs. So if you're all, if you're all playing the same class and you need to collect solar orbs, and you're all running solar subclasses with solar weaponry, the game will just rain solar orbs upon you. So if you're looking, going, oh god, I have to get 100 solar orbs, that won't take you very long because it's all the solar orbs that everybody is creating in the EAZ or in the Strike or whatever. So the numbers, because I think at one point it was like, getting like 250 or 500 orbs, but it went really quickly because it's all of the orbs available. So again, as long as you're with two people, people of the, really it's like people of the same character class you're playing, because they're trying to get the same color of orb. It makes it going really easy, or at least not really, but easier versus the absolute grind for going, oh, I have to do all of these myself. So it's one of the few places Bungie learned that, hey, work as a team to do this, even if you're not on the same, in the same fire team doing this. So hopefully they're going to learn, continue to learn that lesson and not make us go get individually all of these things or fight each other for these kills. And the nice thing about the EAZ too is it was big enough where, like, it would sort of spread the mini bosses around on the map and sort of put them in different places. So you could say, hey, I'm going to go get this one over there, you get that one over there. Or at least if you're in different parts of the area, you can sort of farm, the Fallen kills or the Cabal kills or whatever without fighting your two other fire team members. Unless they just happen to be following you around the map like a puppy dog, in which case you're back where you started.
Puppy dog!
So for your boots on the Titan, anyway, we'll stick with the Titan for this one. So
Are
defeat
we still
combatants.
on this?
Yeah, defeat combatants with elemental damage. That's 2,000 elemental final blows. Collect void orbs in any strike. So there's your Ruinous Effigy. And defeat combatants with solar melee attacks. And that was 100. Oh, God. So, yeah, you still have to do some of these. Damn it. I thought they'd taken that out.
This is Bungie. They want you to grind. They want you to have that armor be worth it, Night Demon.
But it's not!
No. But Night Demon will still grind all 3 armor sets out. He will.
Okay, so...
Not, because we have better sense and not enough time.
I don't think he can,
so,
though. He's going to have to get the kids invested.
Scrap what I said at the beginning there, where I thought they'd taken it out. They haven't taken it out. You still need to get 100 Void Grenade final blows on your Hunter. Oh my god. So what I will do is I will link...
Hold on, wait. Is that Guardian final blows?
That's just final blows. No, that's enemy.
Oh, that'll be easy. With the Void Grenade? That's not hard.
Yeah. So, where are we? Carrying on. The mark for the Titan. Complete patrols on Io. Collect elemental orbs of any type in the European aerial zone and defeat enemy combatants with solar weapons. So that's 5 patrols, 200 elemental orbs, and 300 solar weapon final blows. finally, moving on to the Solstice Suite Magnificent for the Warlock and the Titan and the Hunter. Now, the trick was for last year, if you had managed to do all your other sets and got them up to the Majestic, well, not the Majestic, got them up to Renewed, which was blue set, because I think we started off with a white set, then it went to blue, didn't it, last year? So if you completed everything up to the point of doing your Majestic sets unlocked for all the classes, what you could do is literally equip the whole set on each character. But you could then go and do whatever the requirements were on just one of the characters. And as long as the other characters on your Bungie profile had the set equipped and they were wearing them, you would get an auto completion on each part of those armor parts. So for the Magnificent set this year, you have to complete a Nightfall Ordeal Strike on Master difficulty. Now, this is the 1080 version. This isn't the Grandmaster. So this is doable with a good fire team. And you've got quite a few weeks to get close to 1080. So that's worth doing. So make sure that the helmet for each person is at the Magnificent set and it's put on those characters when you actually do that, and it will auto complete. Hopefully, cross your fingers that it did the same as last year for those characters, and the same with whatever you're going to do for the other ones. So the grips or the gloves or the gauntlets is complete a Nightmare Hunt on the Moon. Doesn't specify what tier of Nightmare Hunt at the moment anyway. The robes, the plate or the chest piece, the vest is complete a Pit of Heresy on the Moon. The boots, the greaves, the strides is win matches in Trials of Osiris, and you win 7. Doesn't say whether it's in a row. I'm guessing it's very much like the Triumphs at the moment. It's just 7 random wins. And the bonds, the marks, the cloaks, the butt capes, the hoods, the wristbands, defeat the final boss in the Altar of Sorrows. So that's the tier 5 boss, I guess. So you go to the Altar of Sorrow, fight with all the other people that are there, and that will be completed. And hopefully, if you've got all your sets up and you do it on one of those characters, it will auto-complete on the other 2. And you won't have to worry about it any further. And the good thing about this whole thing, you don't have to do it. So Respawn sitting there moaning, oh, this is fine. It's just something extra for you to do. You don't have to do it. It's just a bit of fun. And I remember last year, Parody had so much fun on the EAZ just bouncing on the rooftops and going collecting chests. Didn't you, Parody?
EAZ is just a place I really enjoy. I enjoy the layout, and I just enjoy it. Honestly, I was so happy not to run through a forest again. I was delayed to have any kind of new area, that it wasn't just another version of the reskinned forest. No, it's a lot of fun because it's a lot of verticality to it. I likened it to playing Crackdown in Destiny.
Did you just mention a different game in our podcast? That is forbidden text, my friend.
It's the second time it's happened this episode for those of you keeping track at home.
Destiny 1 doesn't count.
Nope, wasn't that one.
Other things that they mentioned last year, there won't be an event engram. They haven't done an event engram for quite some time, so that probably still won't be a thing this year. Instead, every single item will be available for direct purchase using silver or bright dust. Again, probably be the same this year. Armor glows, they were available to add to your Solstice of Heroes armor sets. You had to purchase those through Eververse. I do believe you could use bright dust or silver. Again last year.
Yeah, I think they said, for the entire event, everything will be available at some point during the month in the Eververse for Bright Dust. So if there's something you're particularly looking for, every Tuesday or whatever, go to Eververse, check out if it's there that week for Bright Dust, and either work on grinding your Bright Dust or store it up till you've got it. So everything will be available at some point. And I know there were a couple of exclusive silver-only things that they said, we will tell you. I think they tweeted it out last year, like every week. Hey, this week's things for silver exclusive are, this emote and this sparrow or whatever. But most of it was available in Eververse that you could get for playing the game and not buying it with real money.
And if you purchased one of the glows for the Void, Arc, or Solar, you could attach that to whichever Guardian you wanted to. It wasn't set to you had to put it on your Titan. If you purchased one of the sets, like one of the glows, like Solar, you could then equip that on all 3 characters. It wasn't locked to anyone. And it would also shine brighter when you had the subclass element aligned with the glow as well. So that was also quite a novelty for the glows for that.
Boring.
Shut up, you. Just to give you a quick rundown, the EAZ was made up of 7 different zones. There was the meditation grounds, the ruins, the town, the factory, the mall, garage. And each day, different energy would fill the air and allow you to become empowered. So solar energies blast through the EAZ, filling the air with the smell of sun-baked earth. Arc energies crackle through the EAZ, filling the air with smell of ozone. And we discussed this last year, didn't we? We wanted to know what the smell of ozone was. We still couldn't get to the bottom of it. Void
like
energies.
Oxygen. If you ever went to an oxygen bar, that's what it smells like. No, oxygen. Because ozone just means O3, three molecules of oxygen. So go to an oxygen bar, take a big sniff of some pure oxygen, not that flavored crap, and that's what it smells like.
Should I bring my oxygen SR3 with me or no?
No, that's been
absolutely. Maybe you'll find some use out of it for once.
And Parody and Respawn's favorite element, Void. When that energy pulses through the AZ, it fills the air with the smell of potential.
It does. Dear sweet potential of that shield about to smack you upside your head.
That is what we were trying to figure out, the smell. Potential. What the hell does potential smell like?
Well, I mean, I can tell you for a Titan, the smell of potential is knowing that somewhere nearby there's a hunter you're going to smash into the back of and just waiting for that potential to happen. That's the smell of potential.
You know what? That was unnecessary. Okay.
And as Parody said about the Taken that suddenly spawn in the area, they're called prismatic Taken. They'd probably be exactly the same. And it'll pop up on your screen, hunt for the prismatic Taken. Prismatic Taken is roaming nearby if you're getting close to them, and Prismatic Taken has escaped. And they told you the name of the zone, which is why I told you there's 7 different zones. You kind of have to get familiar. There was a Centurion, a Knight, and a Captain that suddenly appeared.
And I think, like we said, the value for killing them was, I think it refilled your super and gave you just like maybe some extra heavy drop, or there's some benefit to doing it in the game itself other than the triumphs tied to it.
Yeah, there was
a part of it.
There was also weekly and daily bounties, and I believe the weekly one was just like collect an absurd amount of orbs from just pursuing the event through the system, and then you had various different ones during like daily ones that would rotate in and out. So there was Enlightened, which was defeat enemy combatants in the EAZ with Arc subclass or Arc loadout equipped. Make 'em Hurts, defeat enemy combatants in the EAZ with Arc weapons. Golden Joels, which was loot the chests in the EAZ. Yeah.
Because electricity and it hurts.
And there was one that was called Into the Broken Arc, which was complete the strike Exodus Crash on Nessus, which hopefully won't be coming back. But you can see there was loads of different ones, and they've probably got either new ones or they've got the same ones back again.
Get back again.
One or the other.
Dumbass bounties. Tell your friends.
So there was a few tips and tricks that came out of doing the Solstice event last year, which I think will probably still be relevant for this year. What people found, it was easier to run along the rooftops to get to the mini bosses. So I believe there was always 2 mini bosses up at the same time, and they would it would just really annoy you. There'd be one spawn across one side of the map and the other one would spawn on the other side of the map, and you kind of have to divide and go off. So you found it easier to run along the rooftops to get to the mini bosses. There are also teleporters on floating rocks on the edge of the map, and it'll drop you from a height anywhere in the map, and they would drop you in specific locations. So if you went to the same teleporter, it would drop you in the same place somewhere else, but it would be that same place if you went to that teleporter.
The treasure hunter ghosts and the cache detectors and also snipers were useful to find the chests at the end. only they weren't because they don't actually work. So like when you're out in the worlds and you like, throw a sniper rifle on, or you got one of your treasure hunter ghosts or cache detector ghosts, when you're near one of those chests, it would sort of tell you where they are. That does not work in the EAZ, because basically when the event, the final boss, the locations of the chest will show up for, I think it was like 5 or 6 seconds. Above like the 25 different locations, there will be a chest. If you killed 5 bosses or 5 mini bosses, there will be 5 chests somewhere within those 25 locations. It'll pop up where they are for a couple of seconds, and then it won't show you on the map anywhere. And then the 3 of you dashed off, hopefully in different directions, trying to find which ones they were. So you can't put your sniper on or use your cache detector or your hunter to know where they are. And if you run it enough times, you start to learn where those locations are.
And when you could hear that kind of jingle, couldn't you, of a chest not being
when you get close, it would show up when you got real near, it would show you where the chest was, or tell you that you were near. So if you're sparrowing past one and all of a sudden you see an icon pop up, you can jump off and go, okay, it's here somewhere.
Yeah. And if you opened a chest, it would open the chest for every person on that fire team. You wouldn't all need to run to the same chest. And I think people like Datto and Esoteric were killing like 25 mini bosses. But I think the most I ever got was like maybe 10. But it is doable to get most of them, I guess.
You got to think of this year with you have the Wither Horde, you have the Ruinous Effigy. Both weapons make it significantly easier, not only to kill mobs of ads, but even the yellow bars themselves, the bosses themselves. So like, if they didn't change the enemy types or the enemy like light level enemy, any of that stuff from the last time, it's going to be significantly easier to get a lot of boss kills this time with all the new
champion
introduced. What's that?
How much you want to bet every mini boss is a champion of some sort?
Don't do that, Parody.
You know they're going to throw the champion mechanic in there.
No champions.
They're not going to give us a game mode that's stupidly easy to finish. Come on now.
Unless it's shielded champions. Those are the only champions I'll allow.
So long-range weapons like the Yotan and the snipers are good to get one hit on the mini-bosses. I'm not 100% sure whether it counted towards your progress or not. I think you maybe had to have got the kill. But again, until we get to this year, we don't know whether that they've changed it or if it was that you just had to kind of get a hit on it and then somebody else gets the kill. Also, with that, the ogres that spawn in to protect the larger boss ogre don't count as mini bosses. So there was one of the sets that you kind of have to do mini bosses. That won't. If those ogres are still the same ones, they won't kind of count towards it. So if you are interested in knowing what the different sets are, the renewed, the majestic, and the magnificent sets, you can go to destinysets.com/solstice. And if you've linked your Bungie account, or even if not, it will give you a list of all the sets and all the different numbers of how to complete them. I think once you've linked your Bungie account, you can track what you've actually done on those sets. So if you're playing across all 3 characters, you'll be able to track those.
You sure can. And if you haven't done it at this point, and if you haven't used Destiny sets at this point, you're missing out. Go to destinysets.com, link your account. It's stupidly useful for all these things.
So what we'll also link for you is last year we linked a whole load of videos by Cheese Forever. He goes through how to upgrade the Warlock drained, renewed, the Titan drained and renewed, the Hunter drained and renewed, and all classes for the Majestic armors. So what you just kind of have to think is the drained set is now the renewed set is now the Majestic set, and the Majestic set is now the Magnificent set. So I will relabel those, and I'll put them in the show notes. But just be aware he is talking about last year's, but most of the stuff still counts for this year. 100 mini boss kills in one run. Cheese has a video for that, so that will be helpful and useful for some of the armor sets. He also has an easy challenging enemies solo farm. So I'm not sure if that's actually part of it this year. So we're just I'll link it anyway, so it might be helpful. And then DPJ has a video guide on 200 void hunter grenade kills in 5 minutes. I believe that was going to Shirochi and doing that tether, throw out the grenade, die and respawn, pick up the last wish checkpoint kind of thing. And then there was 300 Titan solar weapon kills and fallen kills in 5 minutes, and then 300 Titan solar melee kills fast and easy. And then Ninja Pups did a whole complete guide on loads of different tips and tricks that may be relevant and may be useful for people to catch up on now, rather than kind of get into it and not actually see,
Quick tip for the void grenade kills. Instead of that she wrote chi thing, because you got to keep using banners for that. So if you don't want to waste your banners, honestly, go into the freaking Last Whisper quest. Doesn't matter if it's heroic or not. Make your way to the green room, fall down the crack, have an auto rifle on that's got shield piercing rounds, and then have the other mod that says if you kill enemies using shield piercing ammunition, it gives you ability energy back, right? I forgot what that one's called, but it gives you grenade and melee energy back if you kill things with shield piercing rounds. So you fight on the crack, throw a grenade, let them run at you, and it'll just kill them as they run at you if you're using the vortex grenade. And you kill a couple of thrall with the auto rifle, you got your grenade back in a couple of seconds. So like I said, green room, fought on the crack on purpose, go to the opposite end of the room. There's like a little corridor that they'll all have to freaking funnel into. Toss a grenade, shoot a couple with an auto rifle, toss a grenade, shoot a couple. You'll be done in no time.
Okay, thank you for that tip. But just to make sure that people are aware, this is the Whisper of the Worm hidden exotic mission that you can kind of either, if you've done it, there'll be a legendary version of it on the map on IO. If you haven't done it, I believe you can complete any public event in the area. I can't remember where it is on IO. Do you guys remember where it's? I can't remember now. You have to complete. You look it up. You have to complete a public event in that area and kill the 2 mini bosses, and there'll be a portal that opens up. Once you open the portal, you can go in and do this very tricky jumping puzzle. If you like, I could link a video for people that are unaware of this, as it's one of the weapons that potentially that mission will go away because IO is disappearing. I'll make a quick note to link a video of
Lost Oasis is the area.
There you go.
Yep.
Link video for Whisper mission.
Right. Yeah, and if you don't have it or don't know how to get to it, load up your Altar of Sorrow, your Escalation Protocol, and just, you're fighting other people for it, but it's also a great way to murder through some of these kills and grenades and everything else, because especially if you're a Titan, just have your Titan friend put a wall up right where things spawn on the Altar of Sorrow. They run out and they're deaf and blind. Then you just throw a grenade and watch them burn to death. It's great fun.
So also, yes, mention it. Vortex grenades work really well for this if you have void vortex grenades. Other than that, if you're a Titan, you don't have vortex, right? You got to run with the double grenades with your the chest. What's the chest piece called?
No, but the grenades. I believe the grenades thing is only for it's void grenades on a hunter piece.
Correct. Okay,
it's
my bad.
Melees for the Titan, and I can't remember what it. I'm just checking now what
Titans,
it is.
It's even easier. Just insurmountable Skullfort and have a nice day.
No, but insurmountable Skullfort doesn't work with solo abilities.
Throwing hammer in that case.
Yeah, throwing hammer works.
Hammer.
Yep, throwing hammer, pick up your hammer. Throwing hammer, pick up your hammer.
Solar Thor,
but not while holding a sword with the Code of the Devastator, because that's not a thing you can do.
Only one of your subclasses has the hammer that you can throw and run and pick up, right?
Only one of our subclasses has a hammer full stop.
Okay.
I can't find where it is now. It says Void Final Blows is the chest piece there. Solar Melees. Super. It may just be Super Final Blows for the Warlock.
Any super?
Yeah, Arc Super Finals, which is pretty
that's
easy.
Even better. Yeah,
that seems fine.
Yeah,
did I tell you guys about the build where if you use the Kamehameha, you put on actually that Void helmet, the Nezrak Sin, and use Void weapons, and you get your super back even faster? It's crazy, man. Because that class already has a little freaking orbs that come to you to get your super back faster, and you couple that with the Nezrak Sin and a Void weapon. God, you got your super back every 20 seconds, I think. 20, 30 seconds. It's nuts.
So to round it up, Solstice of Heroes is a fun event, and if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. It's just there to have a bit of fun. And I get when I thought this was coming into the game again, I thought, I really enjoyed that. That was one of those ones where it generated orbs and gave you unlimited power. But then I was getting that mixed up with the Revelry. When the Revelry came, that was the one where you could just throw out grenades like willy-nilly, couldn't you? Just like constantly shower people with grenades. Do you remember that?
Yep. There was where things became mayhem everything.
Yeah. And that's when you found a lot of people were soloing the dungeons. They were doing the...
that was so much fun. They need to bring that back.
Yeah. They were doing the Reckoning. They were doing the Reckoning bridge without any supers. They were just throwing out grenades and just destroying everything. And there is a triumph for doing that bridge area without using your super, which I still haven't done. I should have done it that week, but I didn't. So I got a bit mixed up when Solstice came back, and all these orbs and things. I know it does kind of give you some kind of power up, but it's not to the extent of what the Revelry was. But it's hopefully going to be a bit of fun for everybody to enjoy and get involved in. Just to throw a few more tips and tricks, guides and builds for you. Cheese Forever has got a video on a Malfeasance and Witherhoard glitch, because apparently they share the same kind of functions with giving taken damage. So that was worth a watch.
Which is just dumb. That's one for the PC folks because it involves weapon switching, but it's just dumb.
Or you could have a console with an SSD.
Yeah.
No, because my console has an SSD and it doesn't even compare to PC, dude. No.
Yeah, even the SSD only gets you so far.
Or, I mean, as Cheese puts it, you could have one person running Witherhoard and one person running Malfeasance. You still get the damage, which is quite nice. Yeah. Fallout Plays has a video on problem with weapon ornaments. Now, I thought this was just going to be one of those boring ones of, if you equip the weapon ornament on this gun, it's just going to extend the range, like he did with the Chaperone. Showed you that if you've got the ornament for that extends the barrel, which then gives you extended kill. I mean, he does talk about that. But one thing that I found quite interesting with that is the new pulse rifle, the Cold Denial. Yep. If you get the Omolon ornament for that, it changes the scope. So it gives you a cleaner...
It doesn't change the scope. It changes it changes the visuals of the zoom. Yeah, you still have the same zoom you did before.
Yeah.
You don't get any extra range or any extra zoom or anything like that. But it's like your eye is closer to the scope. So you have a wider field of view. There you go. It's a wider field of view. It's a cleaner look.
There you go. But yeah, that was an interesting video that he's put together. One for Respawn. MTash has come to the realization that Doom Archers are really good. They've gone from good to great, and he has a video on...
I've seen that, and it's not for Respawn. Respawn doesn't like it.
No, I'm just giving you a warning, so that you can keep away from other Titans.
I keep away from Titans anyway. It's like my mantra.
One for Parody. Destiny Fun Police has got a Sunbreaker Monte Carlo Synthesept build for you.
I'm in. Punching thing.
I know.
There to go.
Frostbite has got a charged Taraba build, which looks quite interesting. So if you have managed to get the Taraba, the exotic machine gun, or the exotic submachine gun from the Crown of Sorrow raid, then there are a couple of good builds out there with the Charge for Light, which are really good. So Frostbite has a good guide for one of those. Cool Guy has got a lookout for this perk on the Truth Teller. So that's a good one for if you are looking for a replacement for your mountaintop.
That Truth Teller, we discussed that, if not on last week's show, then the week prior, about that's going to be the mountaintop replacement. Even though it's not a kinetic, it's still going to give you almost all the same benefits the mountaintop does, except for the straight shot thing.
Yeah, but Cool Guy's got a video on looking out for certain perks to enhance your gameplay. So Cami Cakes has got a good catch-up guide for D2 for Seasons 11 and beyond. So this is for anybody that's kind of coming into the game now that's interested in kind of maybe getting Beyond Light, or you've got the Game Pass Ultimate and you're thinking you want to expand and play a bit more of Destiny come September, then this is the guide for you. Or if you know somebody that wants to get into Destiny, point them in the direction of Cami Cakes. He's got a really good video on that. Fallout Plays has just done a Lonesome God Roll update for the Season of Arrivals. So if you're looking for an updated version of your Lonesome sidearm, then this is the one for you. Now, I do need to print a retraction from last week. I think it was last week, Parody, and I must apologise to you, good sir. You can indeed get a Gnawing Hunger curated roll from doing the Tier 3 Reckoning. And MyFi has a video proving that you can possibly get this weapon to drop. So this is the curated roll with Overflow and Rampage, I believe, that you were asking about last week. It was confirmed also on Reddit. I did a couple of searches because originally when I was looking for it, when Season of Arrivals came back, there was a lot of Reddit posts asking about, can you get this curated roll again? I don't want to miss out. And nobody for like 46 days on this one Reddit post confirmed that you could, apart from this one guy that went on, I think about 3 or 4 days ago, and went, I've got one. So yes, you can. So I can foresee that you will be going into Reckoning a lot more in the next couple of
There's
weeks.
something beautiful about that to me, because either A, no one has stepped into Reckoning for 46 days, which I believe, or B, the 3 people who have are like, yeah, but I'm not telling you bastards about it. I'm going to keep it to myself.
Right?
So yeah, I actually, I've been looking at that gun. I haven't quite deleted it yet. I put it into the vault. I haven't quite gotten rid of it yet, but yeah, it will be being replaced because I've been farming the False Promises auto rifle and the Gnawing Hunger auto rifle, and just none of the rolls I have meets the Sweeter Business standard. So yeah, I'll be going back into Reckoning to get that as I slowly maybe work through some of my armor pieces for my Gambit Prime stuff. So I'm missing a couple of helmets that it just won't give me.
Did you see the Cactus video about the Gnawing Hunger? It makes sense, but my God, I do not want subsistence on my Gnawing Hunger, man. Like, it's just...
Yeah, no, there's only one roll that gun needs, and I know videos have been put out about it, but you want the curated roll, the end, full stop. Nothing else compares. If you don't have more bullets than they have health, doo-dah, you're not winning.
I love that.
And the last video for you to check out is one by JB3, who's got an up-close look at the Titan Monster. So this is the sea monster on Titan. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
What about the sea monster on Titan?
You can have a look at it close up. JB3 has a video on getting up close and down and dirty with it.
So that leads nicely into the thing you posted about earlier in the week that I think is worth mentioning. JB3 has been a great source of, early access stuff or, glitching into areas that, you shouldn't be able to get into. And we, as we've had, Squirrely and Froggy, some of our PVM player versus map guys on the show in the past, and we've talked about it. It's worth mentioning, JB3 got banned from Destiny this past week. And he says on Twitter, over the past 6 months or so, I've taken the role of boundary break in Destiny 2. This is to say, I haven't been using glitches, but instead in-game data mining. It's been my pleasure to show you guys things that have never been seen before. It was a risk. I haven't been a glitcher, quote, for some time now, but many of you have picked up on that. I've been using third-party software to break barriers and walls. I'm sorry for wanting to show you all something cool. I realize by saying this, I'm losing much of the credibility that I had. I'm sorry to say, however, that the story has come to an end. Bungie isn't the biggest fan of third-party apps changing the game's code. In case you couldn't read between the lines, I've been banned for hacking the game. I did it, so you don't have to. I'm glad I could show you all something new. This is the end for JB3. Thank you guys for the journey. I still have the utmost respect for glitchers of Destiny 2, Froggy, Bakanetti, and Cloud LXXXV. Party on. So I think it's worth making the distinction that, he says, he got banned for glitching, and your first thought was, well, Froggy and Swirl, they did the same thing. There's a difference, as Froggy and Squirrely and others have said about, you're in the game, you're finding holes in the game to jump through and, emotes you can break through walls in. That's in the Destiny game, in the Destiny sandbox. Bungie's not going to ban you for that. That's a bug in their game. And they've been good about saying, hey, you found a bug in our game, good for you. That's on us, not on you. JB3 was using third-party software to hack into places you can't get into the game. You can't fall down holes or you can't find a way through. That's why he was banned. And I think it's worth making that distinction because, of course, the threads are like, well, he wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't hurting other people's gameplay. Yeah, but you're still using a third-party software to hack into parts of the game. Bungie's not going to say, oh, well, you can do that while these other Crucible can't use their third-party software to win Crucible matches in trials.
Third-party
software. Yeah, and you hack the game, you're going to get banned. End of story. The end. So yeah, if you don't see much more from JB3 and wonder where he went, that's what happened.
And the last thing that I wanted to kind of throw out there is that Paul Tassi has written an article on what sets you can delete for possible transmog coming later on down the line in Destiny 2 2021, hopefully, cross your fingers. So these sets are 100% safe to dismantle for clearing. So if you are looking at your vault going, like me, then this is an article for you to check out, which is very valuable.
Yeah, no, that's super useful. And because, yeah, I didn't have the issue of my vault runneth over like some people do, but I've gone and bulldozed through a lot of stuff. But yeah, it'd be useful to have for the transmog stuff. What I should keep around at least long enough to have it be a thing before I go re-earn it for the 90th time.
Yeah.
Well, very good.
So, Respawn, have you got anything to say this week? Because you've been very quiet.
No, I haven't been quiet. I've been chiming in all the time. What are you talking about?
No,
unless my mic is off.
Respawn?
What? Man, don't bet.
That noise detection software is working absolutely phenomenally, I must say.
Negative, gentlemen.
We'd like to apologise. Respawn was here. If you can hear him on the recording, I'll put him in there. If not,
where's the link for the close up of the sea monster? That's what I was looking for, man. But it's not here. You have all these
Respawn. If you're there, sing. That might work.
You're gonna have another bleeped out song.
Oh, he's obviously not there. Time to take us away then, Parody.
I think it is worth mentioning right as we go from our emote into our tiny sparrow to race our way off into the distance. The Solstice of Heroes starts August 11th and runs to September 8th. So you've got some time to do this. And if you're sitting here listening to the podcast going, great, Tuesday, I can't wait to jump into this, you got another week to wait. Tuesday is Iron Banner. Go into the Iron Banner, raise your light level, and thank you for joining us. Your Titans this week have been Parody and Night Demon. Your Hunters. No one responds in real life. You can email the show at 2titans&a hunter@hotmail.com. You can find the show on Twitter at 2titans_hunter. We're on Instagram and Facebook and the usual places. If you need raid help from the Guardian Hub, the best hub on the net, or Guardian Downcast that has new swag and artwork, you can go hit up lfg.frozen.party. That's frozen with a 0. See, we are here to offer raid hindrance, trials, hurt, and giggling. If you're looking for completions, go check out those guys. They'll get you further. You can find all your favorite Guardians on Xbox Live and Respawn on PC. You can watch the show on YouTube, listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
The finest of podcasts.
Gents, tell the good people goodbye.
Adios.
But no, I'm not the one. Hold on, where's Luna? I'm not. Shut up. I'm not the one that holds the crown. Okay, Luna is the final boss. I'm just a stepping stone, right? So I'm one of those side quests that they can choose to ignore and go straight to the final boss, right? So
I love the fact that you had to double check to make sure she wasn't behind you.
It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Okay, I just want to get hit with a machete. Shut up.